What's up? Welcome back to another video. My name is Miles. If you're new here, I'm a 23-year-old full-time Amazon online arbitrage seller where I buy stuff from big retail websites, flip it on Amazon, and in today's video we're going to talk with my student John Song, who did about $4,000 in sales in July and is going to be well over $40,000 in sales for August here. So I'm excited to hear about how he's been able to scale quickly. He was in a unique situation where he had a lot of capital to go at this with, and I was able to provide the right information to help him get going quick and everything, get him set up with a prep center, all of that and everything like that. So if you're looking to aggressively grow your online arbitrage business similar to John, can't promise obviously the 10x in a month, but sustainable growth over the long term and everything, make sure to apply at the link in the description, subscribe to the channel, check out a free trial of SellerAmp, and have a great day. Let's get into the video. Also just wanted to document this point in time. Pretty excited about this sales milestone right here. Let's get this to focus right there. Closing in on 300K for the month and everything like that. So I'm very excited about that and everything. Let's get right into the video. Jason, what up? Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, of course. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. And you guys, all the viewership, let me know what you guys think. Please let me know how the audio is in the comments.
It's crispy. It's crispy.
Got the podcast mic on for you guys, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about, my friend, that DM from you that I got like a month and a half ago or so. I have a lot of capital, something along that. I can't figure out Amazon and everything. And here we are. What are we at month to date?
45.6K.
Yes, sir. So full-time income profit-wise pretty quickly there.
And yeah, and I think the craziest thing for me is that like I already have full-time six-figure income. So to be able to just create one like that has been pretty eye-opening.
Well, either way, there's a lot of optimization and shit that needs to be done and everything. Let's see the seller app for the people. I don't want to come out and say like this is, like this is very concerted effort.
If we can
oh, you got nothing. We're early. Hey, you guys see the time.
We got 7:40.
Yeah, 7:40.
We're up 1,300% month to month. I did 4,200 maybe last month. That was the. Yeah, like so I like
month or so.
I had a couple good ASINs that I can't replan, but they also
that's what happens. Yeah, right. Because we were blessed in June and July with a lot of sales, and then back to school, and that's why so many people blew up like this month.
Yeah,
because back to school is like basically if you're in like the shoes, clothing niche, and everything that we like to do, it's like the third best month of the year, second, third best month.
I think it was
November,
backpacks
December.
That really just like I think I sold like 30 of them in a day, and just the sales spiked.
Well, that's what's interesting. Yeah, you think you buy a lot of something and then you sell 30 of something in a day for the first time, right? You get, buy box share. But a lot goes into getting good items like that and everything. But the nice part is if it's a good item, it might sell, especially back to school backpacks type stuff, 5,000 times a month or something like that. So 100% isn't even a lot. And you might be making 12 bucks a unit, 17 bucks a unit. Like I had a bunch of stuff like this. And you guys know, for those of you guys who know my story, last year, August was when I really started to find success with everything like that. But yeah, so what were you doing prior? Like, were you putting attention to it, or was it just something you kind of knew about?
So I started with the roadmap course. It did give me a little ways in, but I wasn't really spending time, or I guess figuring out how to source. And as you stated, ultimately this business relies on your ability to source, and that's pretty much it.
It's a good tweet.
And so
tweet that later.
Yeah, ultimately, if you can't source, you can't get items. If you can't get items, you can't sell. But I was coming to the point where I had capital. I know about spending in the proper way. For example, it's always worth to pay a mentor because it'll accelerate the speed of where you can, achieve things. And I could figure it out myself in 8 months, or I could just pay you and figure it out in 1.
And that's why I only want to work with the people who would figure it out on their own. And like, I'm confident that you would have figured it out on your fine speed, essentially, on it.
Ultimately, I think anybody can figure it out on their own. It's just the time aspect. Do you want to wait a year to figure it out, or do you want to scale now? And then in a year, you're more than going to have paid off, the fee of the course or mentorship. And then all that money is your profit.
Yeah, and even just like you do the math, you break down it, like it's simple based on ROIs and stuff like that.
I would say I made it back within our first one-on-one.
You did a lot of good work on your own end, because it was like what was interesting. What I really think is, so you went a really wide net, right? You 50 to 100 ASINs so far.
I copped 170 in 4 weeks,
which is insanely hard. That's
I 10x'd everything.
Yeah.
And I want to say something. Do you remember I was the guy, you gave me the spreadsheet and I gave up my first 10 leads to the entire mentorship
Yeah.
group because I was in the
Yeah.
shared spreadsheet. And I kind of freaked out because I was like, I worked so hard and I like
It's
felt that
not.
I know. And at that point, I realized I can cry about it or 10x it
Well, and
where it's not going to matter.
you figure how many people are pulling this spreadsheet new. Yeah, it's
Right.
not a lot. It's not a lot per week and
Exactly. But,
everything.
that was kind of like the big moment. It was like either cry that you got, leads that were exposed, or you just get so much that those 10 leads don't mean anything to you. And that's pretty much what I did. I got 170. I hired 3 VAs. I went pretty
I didn't
aggressive
know
in
that.
terms of expansion, but it's only because in the beginning, the VAs can do so much work for you because it's all about just going through all those storefronts and doing the tedious work, right? And so after I got him, I was able to just downsize to one and have him look for new products now. But at one point, you can only cap at so much of new, Nike products, if that makes sense. Like it's so easy in the beginning for them to find like 100 ASINs because there's nothing in my store, if that makes sense. Then after they find those items, it gets a little more challenging to find the other stuff.
Yeah, well, and what's nice too is you have like you can give them all the coupon codes we like to use.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
the right then order can't like I was just doing another one of these a few minutes ago, and dudes were talking about buying discounted gift cards and stuff, and I haven't even gotten to that myself. And it's something everyone watching this should experiment with on your own,
yeah.
especially sites that don't cancel.
And I think your VA's ability to source is ultimately, once again, based on your ability to
It's a
source because you have to
reflection of
teach them.
yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So ultimately, if you can teach them well, they'll do well. If you can't source yourself, don't expect your VA to all of a sudden grow your business for you.
Yeah, and so
Um,
I assume you got to be like getting on Zoom with them, getting on Skype with them, showing them XYZ,
yeah,
recording mini videos.
I work with them like every day because ultimately I tell them I'm going to be hard on you in the beginning, but I'll pay you bonuses. Just work with me because ultimately, if you're just kind of soft about it or you're not really um, like giving them directions on a daily basis, they'll kind of just waste your money ultimately. And like if they produce, I pay them bonuses. So if everybody wins. Like I don't feel bad that I'm really trying to get him to the next level because I told him you do good, like there's room for you to grow, and then he's gonna be happy with the increase in pay.
Yeah, and the nice part too is it's not like a binary scale. It's something you just continuously get better at that compounds
Yeah,
over time. So your output per hour skyrockets.
exactly. And they really struggle at first, but once it clicks for them, they just start to pump out leads for you. And ultimately, like since this is a game of sourcing, I still source like I try about 4 to 10 hours depending on my schedule. And then they're sourcing for another 8. So while I sleep, my business is running nonstop. And then I wake up to 10 to 20 leads to buy right off the bat. And then I can spend my day sourcing again.
Yeah,
So
and
it keeps the business growing exponentially because I'm taking advantage of every hour in the day. If that
yeah,
makes
and
sense.
especially like super cheap too. With
Yeah.
probably people in the Philippines, I assume helping
Yeah,
out
I
with
pay
that.
400 a month. So to pay
Mhm.
1,200 was easy because they got me 30,000, 40,000 in products.
Yeah, and that's more importantly too, thinking over the long term, you also got to test a lot to build that muscle memory of the keep. And I say that all the
Yeah.
time now. Someone brought it up like muscle memory is like such a good way to put it. You're building that muscle memory. So like now when you see a keep a chart, you're like, okay, 45 days ago, I bought something that was similar to that and it sold XYZ amount. It obviously, your knowledge compounds, your skill compounds the
Yeah.
same way your money does and
I agree.
everything.
And I would suggest everyone test buy because it allows you to see, like, for example, you get to see like how a 3K ranking sells in shoes, or you get to see 3K ranking in vitamins. You can kind of understand. And you can also even see, I had one unit that was 120K. A lot of people would have overlooked it. It had like
I
maybe
would have
50
definitely.
ratings. I can sell 100 units. There's no competition all day. I can't source it anymore, unfortunately. It's sold out. So I keep it in the back burner for now. But I would have never known had I just test bought it and just I bought 10 units, it sold out in 2 days. I bought 80 more, sold out in a month, and then I couldn't buy any more. But that comes from testing, right? You would have never known. And then the most interesting is it was at 120 because there was no inventory. And once I got it, it went to 70K because the sales were clocking. So that's
Yeah.
something to like pay attention to. And those are like the sleeper listings that nobody's gonna look at. No competition.
Yeah, because if there's no supply, it can't sell. Therefore, the sales rank can't drop
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So it kind of makes sense on that. But it's just an interesting kind of thing to think about,
Yeah.
essentially in there. So I like this in terms of people who are watching this who are just getting going. Maybe they have a lot of capital, maybe they don't. Right? It's cast a wide net, try a lot, put a ton of time into it. And then as the next 6 months, right? You might necessarily like work less, but your output will be greater, and like your VAs will get better. You'll get better at training them,
Yeah.
and that way the overall output should continue to increase.
I agree because last month is when I was putting probably 12 hours a day into this business. I was going a
That's
little
why it grew,
crazy.
bro. That's why it grew like
Yeah,
crazy. It's
yeah.
crazy. You work, you make money.
If anybody wonders how I got 170 ASINs, I was 12 hours sourcing a day plus my 3 VAs. So mind you, how many hours of sourcing is going on per day? But like that's you have to 10x if you ultimately want to scale. You really have to put 10x amount of the action in. And like for example, I moved to Houston 3 weeks ago. I didn't work on the business for an entire week, and it was awesome because I was just watching the sales spike.
Yeah, well, that's the
Uh,
work. Yeah, now we seen that decline. You got to get some more
yeah,
product in
yeah.
there,
So
man.
I definitely
Definitely,
got to step it up and start buying again.
100%. And so you're doing prep center models, sales tax free state.
I'm doing, yeah, that was a game changer for me. I did have a couple rough patches with a
Well,
couple
that's
prep
of
centers.
course. Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah,
have
any
to.
business,
It's
you
going
kind
to
of
be
have
a
to
month
figure
or
out.
two long process to get the right situation.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but everything's good. I have a really good prep center now that I've, gone through the experiences with them. I've compared them to others, and I think the way that they do the accounting is very important to me. I had one prep center that like would check things in a weekly basis, so I would never even know if it like delivered or not for a week.
Yeah.
And that was just causing me a lot of anxiety, I guess, because obviously with Prep Center, you're delegating all the work to them. You're giving up some control, so you want to be able to at least oversee some of the shipments coming in. But I found a good one, and now it's literally at the point where I just have to buy. Like I don't have all the systems in place now. If that makes sense. Things are moving, right? I have I'm feeding the beast, so things are constantly being sent to Amazon. I have capital. Um, I'm starting to get paid from Amazon as well. My VAs know what they're doing. I might even be at the point where I have to train my original VA to become a manager and hire
Think
other
that.
VAs.
Yeah, that'll be good too, because right, he's learned from you on stuff, different coupons, different what sites you like to buy from, maybe
Yeah,
what type of items to focus on, and then getting that where he can bring new people on that scales outside of you
yeah.
if done correctly, which is obviously the hard part
And
on
I
it.
think a really good tip for those watching is to be very nitpicky with your VA in terms of how you want him to source. Because the more nitpicky you are, the better leads he's going to get you. And obviously, everyone's going to be more happier. He's going to be happy that he's getting you good leads. You're going to be happy that the leads you can buy and make money off of. And so it's important to be very like picky and tell him because if not, he'll just get you very generic leads and you might find one or two that work. I was really, really strict with my VA and saying you have to like meet these requirements. And the quality of leads were insane. I would buy 5 to 6 out of 10,
Yeah,
and
that's a high. Yeah, that's
that's
like
a
10 to
very high
20% high.
percentage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm usually, it was about 20 to 30% that I would buy of
yeah.
his leads. And to be very strict with him, it was hard because in the beginning he couldn't find leads. And once
And
it
you
clicked,
feel bad because you're paying for it, right? You're paying.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. But once it clicked, it was worth every penny of being very like meticulous and strict with him as far as sourcing.
yeah. You got to make sure you pay him good so he stays.
Hmm.
Definitely on that and everything. So, you have any like, I guess, like beliefs or like changes in terms of like how you used to think about Amazon back in July, June, and how you
Yeah,
think about
well,
it
I
now?
think the biggest thing is the paradigm, right? When I first started, it was like it felt so tough and so hard. And I remember you probably like the people watching this video are probably in the same position I was when I was watching like Michaela's video or somebody
Yeah,
else's
well, you
video
get
where
the
I'm like,
right. Yeah,
wow.
people go hard, man. Yeah,
And you're
people
just
just
wondering
go
like, how
hard.
did they do like 4K one month and 50K the next? And I remember
Or
being mind
even
blown.
like, yeah, realistic growth when you're new. It like if capital's not the constraint, it should be like 30 to 50% a month, and your knowledge should be compounding way quicker than that
Yeah,
because you're getting data back and you're actively learning, right? You're putting new stuff in your mind and everything. And at a certain point, capital most likely does become an issue. Then it flatlines
yeah.
naturally, right? Till you get more capital or the money compounds and everything. But
So
when you're so new, it should, if you're like actually putting into it, and it should be growing fast.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is that like when you're sourcing, you just look for one item at first, right? People are like, "Oh, how do you get 200? How do you get 150?" Find one. And once you find one, it opens up a can of
Yeah,
worms.
got
You
the
get you get sizes, variations, colors, and then you get essentially 10 more storefronts to stock, right? Then you find another lead and it opens up another 50 doors. So you just need to find one lead. That's the thing that I tell a lot of people is that just find one because from one lead comes another 10. And from those 10 come another 100. And that's all it is that as you find one, it starts to click as far as how you did it. You know, you start to get more confident. It gets to become more second nature where you just know where to navigate, how to navigate, which websites are giving which discounts. And so as a pro sourcer will look at a website and kind of already know the discount. You know, he can kind of estimate. He won't know exactly, but he'll kind of have a general gist. Okay, $70, I could probably get that for like 50, 55 from Kohl's. And that ultimately changes everything for you because now you don't have to actually click on the website, find the code. You kind of have a general idea of how things work. So you can be a lot more efficient in the way that you source. And so in the beginning, it took me an hour, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours to find one single lead. And through experience and practice and, you know, gaining confidence, I think maybe it really takes me 5-15 minutes, 5-15 now to find a
it
single lead.
depends. Yeah, it depends, right?
Yeah,
But you're looking in the right places now because you know how to get those buy costs down.
exactly.
When you're new, you have no idea how to. Rightfully so,
Yeah.
because you're new. You shouldn't know how to on
And
stuff.
then, you know, the sales prep thing is a huge thing. Like I'm from California, it cuts 10% right off the bat. So that's massive savings.
Sweet. Yeah, I feel that definitely. So if you're watching this, right, I think some tips in terms of discount codes and stuff, this is where a lot of people struggle with. But if you're just looking for that one item, right, you go to like a Nike listing or a Lego listing, right? Look at the other people are selling it. Use SellerAmp, right? Take a look at what they're selling and then go out and look for those items. But more importantly, take note of the websites those items are carried on. Just plug it into Google. Like if you're watching this and you don't know how to find coupons, Google Foot Locker coupons. There's a section of the Foot Locker domain that has some good coupons in it.
Yeah.
That's the start. There, you'd be shocked how much stuff that I use every week is found just from stuff like that.
And I've memorized all the coupon codes. I would
Yes.
suggest anybody who's doing it, you should know which retailer is offering which discount. Ultimately, if you want to become a professional in this business, you should know because they change weekly. So if you're sourcing every day, you should know like Eastbay's 40% right now. Kohl's is running Kohl's Cash right now. You have to know this stuff because it's going to make your life a million times easier.
Yeah, that was some big game for the people still watching
Yeah.
this in. But yeah, you guys got to go follow this man,
Yeah, follow
jsong.online.
me, guys.
Amazon content coming today. It's
I
Wednesday when
have
this is
content
going
on
on.
everything. It's all about making money online. So, you know,
Yes, sir.
I day trade, I sell Amazon. So,
Sweet. It's
yeah.
good stuff. Excited to touch back in 6 months. Hopefully, 100K a month, 80K a month.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that.
All I
That'd
could
be good
say is
stuff.
watch out, Miles. I'm coming
Yeah.
for you.
All right. Good stuff. Sounds good. So thank you guys for watching. If you are interested in working with me, you can book a call down below and get on the phone and talk about how we can make that happen. If you're a good fit, of course, on that. Go follow this man on Instagram.
Yeah,
Subscribe.
guys. I
Thanks for
would
watching.
definitely hit up Miles. I was probably his most skeptical.
Well, yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Dude.
you know,
Yeah.
I was
And
probably
that's
your
what I'm
most
telling
skeptical
you.
customer. And
Yeah.
then like 2 weeks later, I was like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And,
Sweet.
yeah, it was worth every penny, guys.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Have a
Yeah,
good one.
have a good one, man.